Hello. Hey, what's up, everybody? I hope you guys are having a beautiful day. My name is Kayla Davion. I am currently in Tina Turner, the Tina Turner musical. And I have the privilege, the honor to interview Miss Melba Moore today. Hi, Miss Melba.
I'm as excited as you are. I'm so excited. Go ahead.
I have to tell you, when Victoria emailed me to interview you, I was like, me? I was like, wait, I get to do this. I feel like a child looking up to one of her idols, and now I finally get the chance to have a conversation with you. So thank you for being a part of this and coming to be interviewed. How are you today?
I'm so excited and I feel so good. I just know with all of you, I know I don't want to make a long speech, but it's a new day.
Yeah.
It's a new day.
Yeah, filled with so many blessings. And you got this yellow one. You're giving me sunshine. You're giving me joy. I'm
Yeah.
feeling that.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you. That was my intention.
yes, and it reads so well. Okay, well, you know what? We're about to get into these questions because
Okay.
I can't wait to just tell the people about your life. So here we go. Now, I know that you were surrounded by music growing up. I mean, both of your parents were musicians. So can you tell us just a little bit about your childhood and how music became a central part of your life?
Well, my natural father was a very popular band leader in the 40s and the 50s by the name of Teddy Hill.
Yes.
And my mother was a professional singer. They love, but they didn't get married.
Wow.
That's important
Yeah.
because I didn't have the family structure.
Mm.
And so my mother was the head of the house or the breadwinner, but she was gone all the time, first of all, because she was a professional singer, which means you tour. You don't work in
Mm.
town, you're always touring. She also was trying to take care of my grandmother who had had strokes. And they were both from
Wow.
Birmingham, Alabama. So she brought my grandmother up. So it was my grandmother who had strokes who didn't speak. I'm
Mm.
telling you this for a reason because she wasn't able to tell me who my family is. So when you start out like that, it's so many minuses. So although music, thank God, music is in my genes, so I could catch it later. uh, from the time I was born until I was 10 years old, my mother did marry another musician
Mm.
whose name is Clement Mormon from North Jersey. I should say who he is. He had a son and a daughter. So I had a sister and a brother. But
Wow.
I was started my life in New York City. That's where my mother started. Well, she moved from Birmingham to New York City. That's where I
Okay.
started my life. Then my grandmother and my nanny. This is very important too. The lady who raised me was
Mm.
raised by sharecroppers. So
Wow.
she was orphaned, illiterate, and her life was being shuffled from one sharecropper farm to the other. That becomes very important later.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
of course, it's very important then because she was from the backwoods of South Carolina, and she was a
Mm.
cotton chopper. Okay, so she didn't have a whole lot of couth.
Okay. All right.
So besides being raised, in on 100th Street in Manhattan and playing on the streets and learning on the streets, my governance was rough,
Mm. Mhm. Mhm.
kind of like Tina.
Okay. Okay.
But I'm saying this for a reason because this is our culture. We were brought here as slaves, and
Yeah.
mine was very, I think, typical of many African American families, trying to
Yeah.
start leaving the South and coming to the North to try to get jobs other than being on a farm.
Mhm.
My mother starting, as a singer, her finding someone to fall in love with and still practice her craft and moved to Newark, New
Right.
Jersey. And he had sisters and brothers. So now I had aunts and uncles and I had a family,
Mm.
hugely different. And since
Mm.
my stepdad was a piano player, he made all of us take piano lessons.
Oh.
as children at home. We had a professional piano teacher. I'll never
Wow.
forget him. His name was Emery Lucas.
Wow.
And he would crack your knuckles if you didn't pay attention.
Okay, I did. That piano was hard.
Boom. So what I'm saying is that from having no music in my family, father, mother, gone, raised by what we used to call a nanny or governess. I talked like her. I talked like I was from the backwoods of South Carolina. And that's how I lived and worked, because my grandmother had stroke. She couldn't speak.
Right.
Now I'm transplanted from Manhattan to Newark, New Jersey with a stepsister and brother, both of them a little older than me.
Yeah.
But since my stepfather made us all take piano lessons, I then become intimately involved with music.
Wow.
Okay.
So would you say those piano
there.
lessons? Yeah. Would you say those piano lessons, so you feel like they kind of forged you into this life of like, I want to do this. Like, this feels good to me.
It was that was only part of it. Mother and dad rehearsed with their band in the house.
Oh, okay.
And they took us on their jobs with them.
Oh, you were living the life.
Oh yeah, I mean, this was the center. This was our
parts of it.
This was our family was music.
Did you ever feel like you had a choice per se, or you felt like you were?
I had to choose. That's a very good question. I had to choose because both my mother and father were Black. I didn't say that they were. So and they were entertainers. And back in the 40s and 50s, we really didn't have managers and agents and people guarding and guiding our careers. You had to figure it out yourself. And so mother and daddy said, we saw them, enjoying their lives as entertainers, but they said, you got to get real jobs. You're going to get your education. You've heard that story before. I'm just telling you some of the inner details of my individual Americana story.
Yeah.
So
yes,
so by the time I got to starting junior high school, and you're in chorus and you're in different things, we discovered I could sing.
Yeah.
But when you're the instrument, that's very late. That's like your teens. Because I'm sure if I had a normal, healthy childhood, by the time I was at least maybe 5 or 6 years old, I would have known that I had a voice. So you're just not really in touch with music until say like you get into the home and it's everything. And I'm growing, I'm trying to learn how to communicate with my sister and brother because I've been in a dysfunctional family.
Yeah.
So by the time we get into junior high school, we realize I can sing. So, but then there are lots of like unusual things about my stepfather, Clement Mormon, and his family. He was born and raised in Newark, New Jersey, but so was his mother. Usually, we all came from the South. But he was at least second, maybe more, generation raised in the North. His family had all gone to Southside High School generations back, the public school. But by the time I really got so involved with music, I didn't want to go to the high school. I was a public high school. So I auditioned for and got into Arts High School in Newark and began to major in music.
Wow.
So you see the huge difference.
That's
especially with a really firm grounding of music in the home and in the family. and going on the jobs with my parents, and my parents would come sometimes and perform with the kids in school. I mean, it was totally dominated. By the arts.
Wow.
And they were only high school graduates, and they were just passionate and love and very talented at what they did. So you got that I think. Vibe. And by the time I got through high school, you had to pick college.
Exactly.
Parents, insisted that we go to college because we wanted to by that time. But we didn't have the money by that time for me to go to a Manhattan School of Music or Juilliard. I would have gone to a music school. So I went to Teachers College in Montclair, New Jersey.
Yes.
Okay,
This is
but
leading. Keep going.
okay.
Yes.
So I majored in vocal music, but you had to play the piano.
Okay.
That was my secondary instrument. And then from there, um, I taught public school from kindergarten through high school. I was called an itinerant teacher, travel around from grade to grade to school. And I taught vocal music. And then after about doing that for about 2 years, I told my dad, I said, Daddy, look, I don't know if I even have any talent, but I want to try to be an artist. You and mother having so much fun. Let's see if it doesn't work. I'll come back and I'll teach school. So my stepdad took me around to some of his colleagues. And one of the first people I met was Valerie Simpson. Now I'll stop there and let you ask some questions.
Wow. And this, you did it so perfectly because I was literally about to go straight into a segue about your education. Okay. So you went to school for music. Okay. And vocal. So did they teach you what within college? Did you have a voice teacher there that was like guiding you along the way? Were you taught classical music? Like what were the different genres that you feel like you tapped into at school?
Well, definitely in high school and in college, it was classical music, but my voice was naturally classical.
Okay.
But,
wow.
But being Black,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I wanted to sing R&B, so I learned later how to do all of that.
You said, you said, I'm trying to get to this style over here.
I like that. Okay. So, and then, I was born and christened Catholic, but I soon learned, didn't nobody want to hear Ave Maria.
Now, now that's deep. That is deep, especially for an African-American person. People normally don't want to hear that from us. So I think that's cool that you even had this beautiful background in classical music and then later on taught yourself R&B. That's incredible. Okay. All right. So here's my question. So now, since you said that you were a school teacher, based on your experience as both a student and a teacher, can you talk about the importance of education and how you think we can better prepare our youth with resources and network opportunities to succeed in society today?
Well, first of all, you guys have already done that so well. Most of the people that I saw at Women of Color are well trained. Besides being really talented, besides you have our shoulders to stand on. But back in the day, there weren't an awful lot of guidelines. One of the things, first of all, I didn't want to be a teacher. I wanted to be a performer. And so being in the classroom, you see those big little eyes looking at you.
Yeah.
And children, they're still close to having come from the bosom of Jesus, being born. And so when they look at you, they look through you.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help but see that. You see that one of the things I've taken with me is I don't care if you want to be or not. You're an example. You're a role model. So what I've done is try to choose to be a good one. That's the most important thing. And by doing that, you listen.
Yeah.
And you teach.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And I think because we are literally standing on you all's shoulders. It feels, I mean, speaking for myself, like, I just feel like if we did not have role models like you all, I don't know where we would be. Like, you guys have consistently showed just like true elegance, like you've showed just hard work, determination, and you make it, I love the honesty of being like, I didn't come from a perfect life, but I worked my way to get to where I am. I was surrounded by good people. And so I chose to be the same. I chose to be that good person, that good light for people to follow. I love that.
Could I ask you something? Because we learned from you too. Now, one of the things that I think was common back in the time that I was coming along is there was nobody to write a story for Leland Horn when she did her one-woman play. R.C. Davis wrote something for him and me because there was nothing for them. So I have something. There was we were starting some Black companies in theater, but there was nothing for us. But it seems you guys are well trained. Am I wrong or not?
Yeah, no, I definitely think we are well trained. And I think that,
I mean, not just from us standing on our shoulders and watching us, but studying your craft.
but studying it. Yeah, my mom told me I got the whole, you need another job as well growing up. And so, because she just wanted me to be careful. And when I told her I wanted to do theater, she was like, "What?" So when she agreed, she was like, "If you're gonna do it, you need to do it." And I was like, "Got it."
Wait a minute, you sound like Tina.
Okay, because no games. We don't have time to play games. So
first of all, let me just say something. Mm-hmm. It's a new day for us to hear about Tina Turner's life being done on Broadway.
Yeah.
Let me say something else.
Yes.
Everybody can't just stand up and do Tina.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, you're not Tina, so you have to act like her.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna do Tina, you gotta dance.
Okay.
You have to be an athlete.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that requires so much more. I mean, I'm not saying that there weren't great singers and dancers in theater and Broadway that were white and that are, but there were none of us before. And so for us to find out where we're going to get these, where we're going to learn these crafts, where we're going to get good at it, who's going to put us up in theater so we can do them and be seen and begin our own companies like women of color. I said, excuse me.
Okay.
Who is the producer S?
Yeah, come on.
Okay, because you got to be in charge of your own story.
Yeah.
Am I screaming?
Look, please scream for the people because they need to hear this. They need this. Well, be in charge of your own story.
Yeah, I need to feel
it. Yes.
It's so
yes.
exciting. Oh. It's so exciting.
Thank you. It's so exciting. Okay, so in speaking of Tina, we're getting into the musical theater land, and here we go. So let's talk about hair. Now, you were the first African-American woman to replace a white woman in a lead role, and you got it without auditioning. So I need to know this story, first of all. I need to know the significance it had on you as an African-American woman. How'd you feel?
Well, I auditioned for it, but not in the normal way. Mm-hmm. I ran into Valerie Simpson and later moved after because he was a backup singer too. And we exchanged information and I got into studio backup work. And one of the recording sessions was for the Broadway musical Hair. And the star of the recording session was Carlton Sherman, who was a wonderful keyboardist and also had written the music for the Broadway show. And he was being accompanied by the two gentlemen who both starred in and wrote the musical. And so, to make a long story short, they were still casting for the Broadway show. And so they had heard of the whole thing. They told us that we wanted to be in it. They find a place for us, and we're looking for strong personalities and singers. So that's how I got into the Broadway show. But I stayed there for a year, and then about going into the next year and a half, they had been auditioning many people to try to fill Diane Keaton's shoes. They weren't happy with them. And so one of the very bold black girls said, "Y'all, I thought this was free love and open and everything. Y'all don't, all you ever have people auditioning for that role." This was a black, very talented girl who had played Abraham Lincoln. I guess it was the first Hamilton.
Okay. Honestly, it really was kind of building.
And she said, "Why don't that was audition for it?" She just spoke out. She was a beautiful, generous spirit, but a big mouth. So I said, "Well, okay." So one of the matinees, they let me, they trained me for the role and let me play it and, as an audition. So it wasn't a real, it was a real audition, but not a regular audition.
Okay.
I got the part that way.
Wow.
Was that your question?
No, that was the question. Okay. Now, when you were in this show, how did people react? Like, did you get any backlash from the public for taking over this role, or did they welcome you as a Black woman with open arms? How did that go?
Well, I did it about a year and a half after the show was running. So by that time, the news, everybody had been shocked about every way they could be shocked. By the time they saw a Black woman replace a white woman, they welcomed it.
Yeah.
Right. I got the front page of the entertainment section of New York Times. I think it says, hair changes the color. Oh, I forgot. Oh, Melba Moore changes the color of hair. They were welcoming.
All right. And who wrote that? That's good to me. Melba Moore changes the color of hair. Let's go. That's it. I would read that. Now that's it. Okay, so they welcomed you with open arms. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
They did.
Because I feel like it's so important to have these conversations, because so many times we talk about the struggles that we go through as Black people, but I also think it's important to mention the times where, we are welcomed, and the times where growth is happening, to acknowledge those.
And also how it happens, so you can show people the way to go if you can.
Yes. And so you can show the people the way to go. Exactly. Yeah. I love that. Okay. So now we're getting into Pearly. Here we are, because the amount of times I've watched you on YouTube, just replaying, and just the musicianship you have. Like, let me get to that later. First of all, tell me, because you won a Tony for this, for Best Supporting Actress. Tell me a little bit about the show. What is Pearly about for the people who don't know?
Well, Pearly is a gospel musical. We didn't call it that because we didn't know that's what it was. But I remember having a dream of, I guess it was a vision of singing on the stage in this church. Of course, the story was about Pearly getting his church back.
Wow.
Reverend Pearly. Because he was a jack-legged preacher, but that's all we could be back in those days. We couldn't get no license. You could do what you could do.
Right.
But that's what it was about. And his nemesis was old Captain Kochiki, who kept everybody in debt and in semi-slavery, owning the only company store there and letting them buy stuff on credit, but all kinds of tricks, so they didn't have any freedom or any dignity. And that's essentially the story. And Reverend Pearly had this trick. He was going to use my character, Ludi Bell Gussie Meg Jenkins, to go down there and fool him and pretend like she was Curly B. And then she was owed this inheritance from him, because Ludi Bell couldn't read or write. So she gets caught when the captain says, "Oh yeah, you Curly B, huh? So let me see you write your name." And so I'll put an X down there. You see? He said, you're not Cousin B. And everything is blown up and everything, and we're all running scattered. And then we see them all gathering back down at the shack.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out what they're going to do next. And then Reverend Pearly decides he's going to go up the old hill where Captain Kochiki lives, because naturally we live down in the valley by the sharecropping farm. He lives up on the hill. And in the beginning, I only have one song in the show. It was a title song, Pearly. I love, the one, "Set me everything." And I said, wait, that one note stopped the show. That is my country. Ness. Okay.
I'm about to run around this room. I'm about to lose my mind, because you would not. I hope you all are listening as how warm she just was that fast. I just want to point that out. She came warm and ready to sing.
Yes. And that was the previews.
Yeah.
There were so many requests from people to say, well, what was that young lady? Why did you give her another song? Because when I auditioned for it, first of all, we were auditioning in the recording session. So we really did, I didn't really audition for it. So they never heard me sing. And the lady who was the director for hair was a Black woman. So she said, y'all really ought to hear this young lady sing. She has a really great voice. We're not interested in that. We just want to know, can she play the character? Because they assumed that I'd studied acting and everything else. I was just country from my governess, but that's why that's important. I was raised by her.
Right.
But so they wrote this next song for me. This song kept stopping the show. And that song happened to be I Got Love. Which I performed on the Tony Awards and still continue to perform. So I got to say warm and loud, okay?
Okay. Go right, stay loud, can't get quiet because you need to be ready. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. I love it. I love that. Okay. And so now take me to the Tony Awards. You're at the Tony Awards. You are nominated for this amazing category. You've performed this song in front of everybody numerous amounts of times, but you get to do it on the Tony Awards. At the time, did you understand how big the Tony Awards was, and what was it like when they called your name?
I didn't really want to know about it because I hadn't studied acting, so I really focused on trying to find out what was stage right and stage left.
Oh my gosh, wow.
So all the cast members really became my family, and keeping me from just getting so nervous that I couldn't focus. And so I really didn't pay attention to the Tonys, and I didn't know what they were. I didn't hear about them before. I heard about it. I think the Broadway cast here performed on the Tonys and a lot of different things, but I was part of the cast. I didn't pay attention to it, so I didn't. Stories. I didn't understand what they were saying. When I was standing backstage, I noticed that the lights were on. I was used to lights being out, and I was disoriented. I'll put it that way. And the gentleman who announced my category, his name was Jack Jones, and I'm not saying anything that everybody didn't know at the time. I'm not talking bad about him, but he was always drunk. So he said somebody else's first name and my last name.
Oh.
So I was trying to figure out how to get out of there.
Oh gosh. Okay. Oh, now that's tea. All right.
And then I heard the audience saying, no more. So I stood there and somebody showed me how to get back on stage. But Kayla, that's all I remember. I know it's on tape and I was very articulate. But I was so scared, I don't remember doing the rest of it.
Yeah. And so, and speaking of being scared, do you feel like are you nervous when you perform normally? Or are you at the point now where you're like, this is my gig, like no more nerves?
No, I'm trying to figure out why. And I think it's because, I don't know if I'm the type of person, if I don't really, really focus, I can kind of lose touch and forget things or not do my best. And maybe it's because so many of the major things that have happened in my life have been without, I won't say proper, but full preparation. I still get really, really, really scared. And the first thing that happens when I get scared is I lose my voice. So, like you've noticed, I come ready. I don't eat bad.
Right.
I don't cuss no more.
Miss Melba, I don't cuss no more. Okay.
I try not to do anything to get in my own way and focus, because I know if I don't, I'm going to get scared.
Yeah.
It still happens to me. Even with things that I do over and over. Once I get on the stage, I'm okay. But if I haven't prepared, because I'm delicate. It's like I wasn't born singing rock and roll and R&B. So when I was screaming and hollering, I could lose my voice. So when I'm going to prepare, I got to diet right, I swim. That's why I got this long note, because I didn't have it before. My voice was very small, and you couldn't hear it from the stage to the front row. But that's why it's
Wow.
so big now. Everything I've had, it's like I've had to work for it and focus on
Wow.
it, take care of it, pay attention to it.
Wow. Wow.
Like,
That just
like you,
yeah.
like you dancers.
Yeah. Because it is hard work. It is not easy. And I think that especially the career that we're in, when it comes to music in general and theater, just people just assume that it is just that it doesn't take any work. And it's just like, yeah,
Oh,
like it is hard. So you said that you did swimming. Is that what helped with the bigger notes? So you did, what kind of
um,
specific training did you do?
I always loved swimming, but in
Mm-hmm.
retrospect, I realized that this breath control.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but then that's when you have deep and strong breaths.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have to strengthen the vocal cords. So that's singing hard and loud, like singing rock music and R&B music. You got to rough it up and tough it up. Well, I do because when I don't sing, and I haven't been singing, so then I have my little high notes, but I don't have the lows.
Right, right.
And when you
Do
get
you,
older, oh,
uh-huh.
to get thicker, what happens? But your voice gets warmer and lower.
Oh, okay.
So since mine wasn't lower, I would rough it up so I can have some bottom. But now I'm getting bottom. But then you got to learn, you got to work at keeping the middle of the top.
Yeah. Do you
Uh,
sing every day?
no, but I if I don't eat right, then certain
Uh-huh.
aspects of it are compromised.
Okay.
Like for instance,
Mm-hmm.
if you drink a lot of bubble water,
Mm-hmm.
it'll get kind of rough, but not a healthy rough.
Oh, okay. Okay.
If you eat properly and you sing hard, it'll get rough, but it won't get sore or tired.
Mm-hmm.
And you still
Yeah.
have all the connecting areas in between each part, the bottom, the middle, and the top.
Yeah.
So
And
it
did
starts to connect. You actually start to expand your range.
oh, okay. And do you feel
Yeah, and that's for everybody. That's not just me.
mm,
That will
mm-hmm.
happen. Whatever your range is, it's going to increase.
Wow. Wow. And where did you learn this from school, or did you also learn
No,
it kind of on your own?
no, because in school they only teach you usually classical music. You asked me
Yeah.
about vocal teachers. I had wonderful vocal teachers.
Mm-hmm.
But first of all, they didn't sing anymore.
Oh,
They weren't R&B singers.
right.
They were white males.
Oh, okay. White males.
That's important because they bring their culture to it, and that was wonderful. But
Yeah.
they couldn't teach us our culture. But what they could do,
Mm-hmm.
which they did in our case, was to encourage us to sing our music.
Yeah.
And of course, you had talent shows and different things to have fun and to whatever the kind of music was. So they always encouraged your culture. And of course, we're America, we're multicultural. That's excellent.
Yeah. 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 That's beautiful. Okay. Okay. So I got just a few more questions left. These ones are a little quicker, but before I get to those, I want to ask you. So this year, Women of Color on Broadway presented you with the Purple Crystal Honorary Award for your accomplishments and contributions in musical theater at their award ceremony. And you performed I Got Love, which was I was in the back, mouth dropped. Okay. And so, what I want to know is what is it like being a part of an award ceremony that celebrates specifically women of color?
I couldn't keep my mouth shut in the beginning of the show as I was saying, it's a new day
Yeah.
that we've learned how to raise the funds,
Mm-hmm.
to do the production, elements that need to be done,
Mm-hmm.
to videotape it, to do all the technical things that are required to assimilate it, to bring together and honor in for what I call y'all beasts. So that if I could capsule it for us to honor ourselves.
Yeah.
We don't have to wait for somebody else to do it. Still want the other awards. But we have not been included. We included ourselves.
Okay.
You've got to. Somebody else cannot tell your story.
Yeah.
And we've been reduced to someone else saying, she did this or he did this, and that's wonderful. Now you can tell your own story. Not only tell your own story, act it out, dance it out, do it out, demonstrate yourself.
Yes.
I don't have words. It's much more than that. And
Yeah.
wow, just wow.
Yeah. Would you want in the future or at some point to have your story told by somebody and like you be there to, you know?
Oh, that's going to happen. What I want is for you guys to continue to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the Tony Awards and all the Emmy Awards and the Grammys. So
Mm-hmm.
that, you know, 50 years from now, let's see where we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, with everybody, but with women of color too.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I say the things that you've already done. And in terms of the public seeing you, you're just beginning. You're just beginning.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. Wow.
I believe I'll have my story told, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
so grateful and excited to be included among the people that I remember.
Yeah.
I think there's always going to be somebody to do that because that's been established. It's not easy because people have lost their lives and for us to have this right to do this.
Yeah.
But I'm celebrating the new day of us celebrating and honoring ourselves and telling our
Yeah.
own story, and that growing to be a great foundation for the future young women of color.
Yeah. It's so necessary. It's so necessary.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Mm-hmm. So in a few words, how do you feel that theater has really changed from the start of your career to this point? What is like the major thing that you feel like has changed?
It's become more inclusive, not because anybody's said it should be easy or anything, but because we are relentless.
Yeah.
And in different cultures, regardless if it's American or what, this is my humble opinion. I don't think people necessarily mean to be exclusive, but we're created by God as families.
Yeah.
And so we're going to kind of be little circles.
Mm.
And at some point of maturity, just naturally, we have to get outside of our own circle.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's naturally happening. First of all, because it's America, and that's the way God conceived this country. He said, one nation under God. And I'm so grateful to see he's still on the throne, and that's coming. It's not supposed to be easy, simple,
Right.
because it's precious.
You preach the word, Miss Melba, preach. Okay? Give me a word on today. That's it. Okay, I get to shouting. Don't have me shout.
Well, you're a dancer. You're a dancer. You get up and run around if you feel like.
Okay. And so I love to ask, these are my last little questions. I love to ask this just because I'm a person who loves things like quotes or stuff that, you know, I love being able to feed our souls with things that we need. So do you have any words or quotes that you live by that feed your soul every day?
Always so into Jesus, but I'll give you what he's telling me. If I let him speak, I'll be okay.
Okay. All right, now hands lifted up.
He said, take my yoke upon you and learn of me, and I'll give you rest.
Wow. Wow.
He didn't say it would make it easy.
Yeah.
But you won't be in turmoil and fear.
Yeah.
And he's telling you that for a reason, because it's going to be fearsome. It's going to be difficult.
Okay, that's good.
Get the priest.
Okay, and so with those words, do you have any advice that you want to just say to the younger generation that's watching? Any advice that you want to just say to the younger generation that's watching?
Okay. Study, keep focused, be open, but be principled, because you can't receive everything. I pray you be discerning. Because entertainment is wide open for anything and everything. That's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Better be careful.
Careful. Okay. All right. And y'all heard it now. Careful. Okay. Okay. And last thing.
But don't let whatever's, you know, threatening you stop.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't let it stop you. I love that. Okay. And last thing, here we are. Now we love talking, we love seeing the things like Black Girls Rock or like Black is Beauty, Black is this. So I want you in your own words to say my Black is, and then whatever.
My Black is beautiful women of color. I love it.
Yeah.
Excuse me, on Broadway.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I feel like I just was in a masterclass at how to be a beautiful human being and like really just tell your truth. So I want to personally thank you for allowing me to interview you. And I want to thank Women of Color on Broadway. And I know we just want to personally thank you for just being so open to telling your truth, telling your story, and mentoring all of us. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much.
Thank you.